to facilitate the conversation for us. Born and bred in a small town of Mahike, that's a village in the Northwest Province. She's the brains behind the design agency IL Design's creative approach, which offers branding solutions and a digital magazine for entrepreneurs called Entrepreneurship, aimed at elevating businesses. She's a public speaker, a motivational coach who aims to be a back-end and a source of inspiration to others. She is the founder of Real Talk with Ntabi Foundation, a registered NPO operating in South Africa. Driven by the desire for a better life for herself and those around her, she equipped herself with the most powerful weapon, education. She graduated from the Tshwane University of Technology, now qualified as a senior web developer and designer. Ladies and gentlemen, to facilitate the conversation with DrJ Ntabi Mohosi. Give it up. The points are very important. Yes, look at the walk. I munch. Yeah? So come on. Yes. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, Ntabi Mohosi.
By the way, I'm married.
I saw.
Wow. Such energy, guys. How do I stand here? Like, what do I do after him?
Yes.
Yeah, no. Thank God my husband is not here. He was going to look at you and go like, what's happening? All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I don't need to reintroduce myself. So this has got to go. We will be sitting here with Doc and we will be carrying on with the conversation. Can we get assistant with that? Assistance. She's the whole. So I guess while we wait, I can share a little bit about my experience. I'm also an entrepreneur and I have seen it all. Okay. I can't go back, guys.
No, Skata Mayame. My selector,
No, I think, we can just chat a little bit. I'm an entrepreneur as well, and mental health hits. Maybe not in the sense of really being sick, but when my doctor told me that I've got symptoms of stroke, that's when I realized that I had to change. I was running a full-time job. Having a full-time job and running my business part-time. When it grew, it meant that I had to now work extra hours and rely on energy drinks to survive.
Hey Real Family, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining. So I'm only starting this vlog now.
Oh wow. It's a total honor to be next to the most amazing human being ever. Dr. J inspired me to be the person that I am today. And I had the honor of having her at one of my launches, Entrepreneur Puzzle. And I'm very grateful for this moment. So we're not gonna waste time. We've run out of time actually. So Doc, congratulations on your book. It's amazing. I think you can read it in a day, guys. I can guarantee you in a day you can finish this book because it's really practical and it speaks to you, right? It speaks to you. So I think first things first, who is this Mr. Entrepreneurship? Because we're all wondering why, maybe some of you guys are wondering why is it that it's focusing more on Mr. Entrepreneurship? She's a lady. Why is she not talking about Mrs. Entrepreneurship? So maybe just summarize that part for us. Who is this Mr. Entrepreneurship and why is it so important for us to read about this? Sorry. COVID. The regulations, of course.
Okay, so how I got to Mr. Entrepreneurship because when I was thinking of entrepreneurship, to me it was this complex person or this complex being that I couldn't really explain. But looking at my journey, the feeling I got in my journey as an entrepreneur, it felt like I was in a relationship. So I'm a person who believes in heterogeneous ones. So because I'm a lady, then I made this entrepreneurship a man. It could have been it could have been prop, it could have been anything, but it made sense for me as a lady who has experienced a relationship, like normal life relationship with a man, and a relationship with this journey entrepreneurship. And for me to be able to tell the story in a way that was going to be easy for anyone to consume, whether you are a teenager or whether you are old, was to take this complicated concept and make it a person. So I personified entrepreneurship. There's the story is a love story. It's narrated as a love story that talks about these two people who are in a relationship, which is Miss Entrepreneur, which I myself made myself the proxy for entrepreneurs to be able to tell the story. But then at the same time in that process, then there's also this other lover who's Mr. Employer, who keeps on wanting to mess up this relationship on the other side. So I find myself in the relationship with Mr. Entrepreneurship, nickning I'm back dating Mr. Employer, and then nickning I'm back full-time with Mr. Entrepreneurship. So that's the journey. It's a cycle, it's not ending. As you know, now I'm dating both of them. I've got Mr. Employer on the side, I've got Mr. Entrepreneurship on the side. It's taxing, they all want attention. But that's the model that works for me now to date both of them. Mr. Employer pays the bills, the debit orders. Mr. Entrepreneurship gives me the extra that I need for the extra interested lifestyle that I have. That's why I use the Entrepreneur.
Thank you so much for breaking it down. And talking about that part, I think most entrepreneurs always focus on this thing called funding, right? So there's a letter on the book which focuses on financial, ways of getting empowered in terms of entrepreneurship. So I want you to touch a little bit on that, because most of the time when you start a business, you often say, I have a business idea, but I don't have funding. Are you always supposed to look at funding or find funding, or like what are means to actually, get through all of this? Do you need funding? Is it important? What are the pros and cons?
Yeah, funding is important. We can't say it is not important. But I think sometimes we overestimate what funding can do for us. And that goes even in a normal relationship. Maybe ladies will make sense to them more. When you decide to date a guy, does the money matter? Does it mean that when the money is not there, the relationship is not gonna work? Does it mean that maybe the relationship will work, but then maybe if you're the big breadwinner as the lady, maybe you bring all the money? And that's the same with entrepreneurship. If you don't have money, does it mean your idea won't work? Or does it mean it will work, but just in a more difficult and good strapping style? And that's why you need to do that analysis for yourself as an entrepreneur and not stop starting because you don't have money. Do the proper analysis. Do I need money? If I need it, do I need the amount that I am thinking I'm needing? Can I start smaller with the savings I have? You must save. You cannot just go ask other people for money and you're putting nothing. They'll ask you what you're contributing. So find ways. Don't stop because nobody wants to give you money. We all hear how much government has put aside for us as entrepreneurs, but getting that money to your hands is another story. And that's why it becomes important to answer that question, to say, if nobody gives me money, what's going to happen to my idea? And you are the only person who can answer that question.
All right, so I'm going to pose this last question, and I'm going to allow you, as the audience, to ask a few questions if you have. prepare that question. So, I'm a young person. I'm a YouTuber. There are podcasts going around. There are conversations that young people are having. And some of those are that the government is not helpful. The government is not helping us. There's a lot of corruption happening. So meaning we only can rely on ourselves to help each other. Now, we aim to network. We're here because there's a greater purpose. At the same time, you don't want to leave here as you came. You want to network, you want to be known for who you are, what you do. So now, if you had to talk about the corruption and networking that is happening across the world, especially through entrepreneurship, what can you say about that?
So there's a letter, I think it's letter 10 in the book, that talks about social capital. And the question I put there, I say social capital, is it networking or is it corruption? It's a very difficult question to answer because we live in a country where there's been so much corruption that anything can look and smell like corruption. But when you look at research in terms of academic definitions, did I just go to academic? Yeah. Academic definitions on what social capital is. It is about using the networks that you have to derive them. When you've got networks, you get privileges. You get access to resources that you wouldn't get under normal circumstances. Most of big projects I get in the private sector, I got them because of my networks. And nobody has ever complained about corruption. Let me try that in the public sector and be corrupt. And it becomes very important for us as entrepreneurs to understand the perceptions, not really what it is, because perception can be reality. To understand the perceptions and trade carefully when we use our networks. The way you use it in the private sector won't be necessarily the same the way you use it in the public sector. Because for an example, if the MEC here was my brother, and I go to his department as an entrepreneur, a legit entrepreneur, looking for business, what are they going to say? I don't talk to him, I go there looking for business, and somebody here is Jabulile, a sister of Pax Tau, got business from the Gauteng Economic Development, what am I going to be called? Corrupt, nepotism, and all sorts of things. But is it really that? It's not
Now, so I've been facilitating the most amazing event. This is the book. So Dr. J was launching her new book. It's called Dear Mr. Entrepreneurship. This is an amazing book, guys. Like, I think I managed to go through it overnight. So it's a quick read and it's so relatable. There's just so much that you can, take from this. And by the way, it's not just for entrepreneurs. If you're aspiring to be one, or you just want to read like a novel about two people in love, then you can really read it and you will definitely enjoy it. So I just want to go inside. It's a bit dark inside, but I just want to show you some of the banner designs that I designed for Dr. J. So the other one, I think it's outside, but I'll show you this one. All right, so you see this design right here. So, well, these are her brand colors, and I also designed that logo, so hope you can see that. And okay, I'm gonna go look for the other banner.
Said in November 29, we are launching Jabulile. I will hold you accountable to that.
It's a lot, and so my boss even now is starting to say, no, please knock off at 5. was scary. But again, for me, my health was also affected by my
All right. So both Luli's books are selling at 300. Both of them, right? So Luli, we're pushing profits. So please, are we swiping?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are swiping. No excuse, right? Yes, society is you will explain when you arrive. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been a wonderful audience. Before I descend, when you embrace knowledge, you will also advance your conversations. Lack of knowledge leads to short discussions. Let's talk about what are you saying? When you embrace knowledge, you also advance your conversations. Lack of knowledge leads to short discussions. Now we are going to go into networking. So when somebody says to you, what do you do? Don't say, excuse me, I have to rush. Just tell them about your business. And Mr. Tim Kulu, you spoke about a song that gets you a bit eased up when you are under pressure and when you are alone. I also have mine as I descend. This song brought back my sanity. I lost everything when I started in the Genesis. But now I've gained back. Remo assisted me through this song. Listen to the part. As an entrepreneur, I kept on listening to this drill.
So you want to tell us how your experience was of the event?
Oh, it was absolutely lovely. John.
Yes,
I feel
okay.
so empowered.
Same here.
I'm an aspiring entrepreneur, but I feel like I'm already one now.
You are
Just
actually
from the knowledge
one.
I've gotten here. Yes.
You're actually one, darling.
No,
Okay.
I'm honestly, I'm so glad I was here.
Awesome.
Do it again, real
Yes, of course. So these are Lila's book.
Dr.
books.
J's book. Right, yeah. No, that's part of the package.
I'm gonna record you guys.
That is so cool.
So guys, this is the author.
This is
the author.
I bought these ones.
Do you remember, Tino? We bought the blue ones.
Yeah, we bought these ones.
Try to try my name. Yes, maybe say Tunima. Tunima. How do you spell that? N-E-E-M-A. Double N. No, E-E-M-A.
So you're Dr. J student. Hey, small world, yo.
And a great student to that.
Exactly.
Student turned teacher.
Me, I thank you. More so to you who's going to be reading this book, thank you for purchasing it. I hope you will find it valuable.
When you don't apply sunscreen, you are erasing all the skincare routine you've done.
Okay.
Hence, with us as black people, we age quicker. And then I've even I can draw some of the of the knowledge that I have in terms of looking at my own parents. My parents were light skin toned, but the more they grew, they became darker and darker because they were not taking care of their skin. They were not protecting themselves from the sun. They were just always out there and working and trying to push life.